Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Uranus making a square, opposition, or inconjunct aspect to one's natal sun. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Uranus, it could be about freedom, independence, friendships, groups, society, disruptions, aspirations, and goals. Now, when transit Uranus is basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal sun. Now I'm going to elaborate on this. When I say basically, adverse aspect, of course, the squares and oppositions in astrology are negative and adverse aspects. The inconjunct, though it's neutral, can have good and bad qualities since it is neutral, and an inconjunct can often require an adjustment or transition, and that can cause some tension and exasperation. So I say collectively, basically, are talking about an adverse transit. Now, when transit Uranus again is basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal sun, well, it may manifest in freedom, independence, friendships, groups, society, even disruptions, aspirations, and goals. These things may conflict with one's life in general. You might be, when you have this transit, torn between doing things for your friends. Maybe if you're involved in some group, club, or organization, and you might be torn between that and just your own, your general interests with your own life. Say if the natal sun is in Leo and you're having this transit, it could be your life where you're just doing things maybe that are attention seeking, or where you're just really trying to shine or get some spotlight or notoriety or recognition. Maybe you're involved in acting or entertainment somehow, creativity, some creative endeavor. Can be a situation too where the sun is connected with the biological father and children. So it might be where you might be dealing with, again, some friendships, their needs, maybe challenging activities that you're involved in. You want to be involved in with your father, or it could be your children, if applicable. If transit Uranus is in Taurus, they might actually be very loyal, stable, and steadfast friends, and persistent ones. And that's why it might, right now at the time of this video, making this video, of course, the transit Uranus is in Taurus. And the thing about this too is the sun is also connected with our drive and motivation. So, I mean, Uranus is very erratic and sporadic energy, so there might be some fluctuations and change going on with the drive and motivation. You have the incentive that you have to do things in general with your creative energy at this time. It might be where you might be dealing with some disruptions somewhere in your life that might be affecting your drive and motivation, perhaps to do other things. The sun is also connected with our vitality and energy. So again, the fact that Uranus is very erratic and sporadic energy, you might be experiencing, some fluctuations, some change, vacillation with your energy and vitality level at this time. It could be that friendships or some group involvement might be taxing, might be taking a toll on your energy level at this time. Maybe it's harder to summon the energy to do things that are connected with your goals and aspirations at this point in time as well. Another thing is the sun can be connected with dominant males in our life scheme. So it could also be a time where your need for freedom and independence, that might be conflicting with dominant males in your life. And again, going back to even children and the biological father, you might be trying to take some time out from these people at this time to some degree, and it might be harder to do so, to find that freedom and independence at this time. And if you're in a situation, say you're living under your father's roof or something, and you're trying to extricate yourself from that, it might be a little bit more difficult in doing so at this time, finding that freedom from that situation. Now, another thing too is that the sun is also associated with our focus and our attention. And at this time, our attention span on things might be a little bit unstable. They might not be consistent. There might be some, whether it's due to some distractions or what have you, that might be something that you might have a little more difficulty with than usual at this time. Um, Say if the natal sun is in Scorpio, you might be trying to focus on something, with it could be death in the family. It could be dealing with a crisis, trying to make some major change or transformation in your life, trying to get power, control in some situation, or even doing something with locksmithing or trying to solve some complex problem. It could be something where your focus is just not quite, it may be there, but it's intermittent. It might be going in and out, so to speak. Now the sun, anatomically speaking, is connected with the heart, the spine, and the upper back. And also the sun is connected with the physical body. Yes, the ascendant is what dominates the appearance in the physical body, but the sun can play a role as well. Most of the time we do have a different ascendant in contrast to our sun sign. So we're going to really, generally, you're going to have more injuries that are connected and health-related issues associated that correspond with your ascendant as opposed to your sun sign. But anyway, there can be, and the sun is still connected with the heart, the spine, and upper back anyway, and regardless of the sign your sun is in. But anyway, you could be experiencing intermittent problems with what I just mentioned, with what's connected with the sun anatomically speaking. Maybe an accident could take place that might cause some injury with the spine or upper back at this time. The sun being associated with the physical body, there may be some intermittent pain that could be associated with that sun sign. The parts that anatomically correspond with that sun sign. Say if the natal sun is in Gemini, it could be something with the arms, the hands, the shoulders. Maybe there's some intermittent tingling as some examples. It could be, carpal tunnel. Maybe you might be feeling the effects of it more one moment, and then the next moment you don't feel as impacted by it, as an example. The sun is also where we want to shine in. So it might be a thing where, or it could be friendships, something happening, some unexpected development in your life may be conflicting or challenging that area in your life where you want to shine in at this time. So the sun, the fact that it's where you want to shine. It could be more about you, what you want to do, put yourself in the spotlight, where you want to stand out in. And it might be where also too the fact that Uranus again is connected with goals and aspirations. These things that you might have to seriously consider may challenge doing things that you just want to stand out in. It might be for some own personal recognition. The sun could also be about domination. Could be where you want to show some dominance in your life. If the natal sun is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, it might be in your home, your family life. And at this time too, that you want to, whatever it is you're trying to dominate in your life, there might be some disruptions to it at this time. There might be something where there might be some group or some club, there might be some responsibilities to that, or an organization that might be conflicting with this at this time. There might also be, keep in mind that it's just something where, when you're talking about adverse transits of Uranus, that it's very erratic and sporadic energy. So if you're trying to, dominate some, part of your life, or you're trying to be dominant somewhere, say if the natal sun is in Sagittarius, it might be in some sports in your local community. It might be more difficult to do so than usual because you may have some distractions from something Uranus related at this time. And anyway, Another way that this transit, hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, another way this transit may manifest, it could be that friendships might conflict just with your life in general. If the natal sun is in Cancer, as an example, it could be a life of introversion or dominated by your home and family existence. You may be dealing with, disruptions at this time. Unexpected events at this time may challenge matters, activities with the biological father or children, if applicable. Say if transit Uranus is in the 6th house, as an example, it might be some disruptions or some unexpected events or in your employment at this time, your work, your daily routine. Also, too, another way this transit may be expressed, it could be that instability may bring out the negative traits or characteristics of the sun sign. Say if the natal sun is in Pisces, it might be bringing out some very reclusive, emotional, or super sensitive energy at this time. I mean, if your sun Pisces, you're having this transit and you're experiencing some instability in your life somewhere, as an example. Now, another thing too is that Uranus is connected with computers and the internet, and these things might either be harder to focus on, or those things might be causing difficulty perhaps in focusing on something else that is connected with your sun sign. Say if the natal sun is in Scorpio, it might be something with insurance or taxes or crisis or dealing with a death or trying to make some major change or end something in your life, obliterate something in your life at this time, making a major change or transformation. Now, in some cases too, I could see this manifesting like an erratic heartbeat. Uranus is very erratic and sporadic energy. Again, the sun is connected with the heart. If you're having issues with your heart and you've had this problem, before this transit, it might be more prominent when this transit does occur. It could also manifest in intermittent or sporadic pain or even spasms in the spine or the upper back. And there also may be more fluctuations with the physical energy and vitality and even the creative energy at this time. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.